Software engineers, programmers, developers, welcome. So in this video, you can see the algorithm on the screen. So this is a COVID-19 tracker using developed in Python. And this is an algorithm I obtained from Geeks for Geeks. I'll leave the link to it in the description. And I will just be offering an explanation as to how things are in there, and also just give a few things that I saw with this specific algorithm. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So COVID-19, I know people don't talk about it that much, but I found it was actually quite interesting. I used the Beautiful Soup. It's a Python library for pulling data out of HTML and XML files. So this was a very good algorithm that showed that I could be able to like use and have the ability to be able to like get meaningful information. And considering the fact that majority of the time people talk about REST APIs, I just said, you know what, let me just come in and just give my 2 cents on it. So as you can see on the screen, I'll just go step by step. So start off by importing requests. So you have to import the request library, so which is used for making HTTP requests to fetch pages. So this is actually quite important, because without that I don't think we would have been able to achieve anything here. So you can see that from BS4 import Beautiful Soup. So the Beautiful Soup library is used for parsing HTML content. So as you can see, we are trying to obtain data from HTML and XML files. So in this case, we're going to be dealing with HTML files. So parsing is pulling data. So that's actually one thing that I just came across and just found interesting. Then define function definition. So we have the function get data, and the parameter is URL. So this function takes a URL as input and returns the HTML content of that web page. So you can see that r is equals to request.get, then into bracket URL. It makes a get request to the specific URL and stores the response in the variable r. So when you return r.text, it returns the text content of the response, which is the HTML of the web page. So you can see we've done that get, we've done that function that does that, and it returns the HTML from the text content with the HTML from the web page, which is the HTML from the web page in text content. So then into the fetching and passing data. So we're fetching and you're trying to see if we can display it. So we have the HTML data, so you have to get data, and we have that URL there, COVID-19 tracker.milkinstitute.org. So this calls the get data function to fetch the HTML content from the website given in the URL. Then we've created the, not even created, but you can see the other line. We created a variable soup, which takes Beautiful Soup into bracket HTML data, then HTML parser. So this line of code creates a Beautiful Soup object to pass the HTML data, making it easier to navigate and extract information. So that's one thing that is actually quite vital. Then the result, you can see the result variable, then that string. It finds all HTML elements with the specified class, like containing specific data points, and converts the result to a string. So you can see all that is encapsulated using that in that part. Then you can see there are a couple of print statements there. So the extracting and printing data. So the code uses string slicing to extract specific portions of the result string, which presumably contains the desired data point. So we've got print number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. So this one assists in getting this output that you can see down here. So you've got the number 1 is going to print that, the data that is extracted and being output there. Then we've got, number 2 is the same thing, number 3, then number 4, then number 5. So this is the expected output that you're supposed to get. And it was actually quite interesting. I've not used Beautiful Soup, I've not interacted with it, and looking at it in its, it's the way it functions here, it was actually quite informative. And the key points that even I just want to look at in closing is the code leverages web scraping technique to extract specific data from a website. So it relies on the request library to make HTTP requests, and the Beautiful Soup library to pass the HTML content. So you have the Beautiful Soup pulling data from HTML or XML. In this case, it's HTML. Then there's the use of string manipulation to isolate the desired information from the passed HTML. So that's just about it. So it was one of those problems that I just gave it some thought, and I just said, let me just make a video, just talk about it, because I came across it, and when I was just looking for some Python projects to look at, and then I just said, let me just come in and just make a video just talking about it. So if you guys like the video, make sure you leave your feedback down in the comments on what you think about this algorithm from Geeks for Geeks, and also what you think about my explanation. If it was clear enough, just make sure to leave it down in the comments. And I'm out. Happy coding.